What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today I'm here to bring all of you the weekly manga chapter review of Assassination Classroom. So before I get into the review, there's something I want to talk about real quick. I don't know if it's just me, but has anyone realized that Assassination's Classroom recently has been very wonky? Because usually it came out on the same date as Boku no Hero Academia, and sometimes even before Boku no Hero Academia, which is kind of confusing. I mean, I do know Assassination Classroom wasn't always the best release schedule when it came to being translated, because I've seen some issues with it in the past with how it was behind. But is this normally how the release schedule of Assassination Classroom usually is before it got the anime? Because I'm going to assume, since the anime has been done for a while now, that it's starting to the hype for Assassination Classroom is kind of starting to die down a little bit because of the lack of anime. Because that tends to happen with a lot of manga series that doesn't really have an anime anymore. Sometimes the hype dies down to where not many translators will take the effort and time to actually translate a said series. So I'm asking the manga readers of Assassination Classroom that has been with this series for a very long time, is the translations of Assassination Classroom usually like this? Because, see, I've only been reviewing Assassination Classroom for about a couple months now. It's been just a couple months, and that's not really long at all. And so, if anyone could clarify, please, I'm just curious about that. But besides that, moving into the chapter, Assassination Classroom's chapter, the chapter overall, it has it where Nagisa's starting to realize what he wants to do and what he wants to go for, but also what Koro-sensei was doing while the entire E-class was trying to find a way to save Koro-sensei. So we come to find out that Koro-sensei was kind of going Mach speed very fast behind each individual student and whispering in their ear about the entrance exams. Really? Like, really? Fucking Koro-sensei just sitting there, Mach speeding, and just whispering into their fucking ear, just like, hey, entrance exams, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And just, I'm like, really, Koro-sensei, chill, like, that is some fucked up shit. Like, that's how you brainwash people, man. That is how you brainwash people. You sit there and whisper in their head while they're sleeping, and you do this for a course of months. That's gonna probably put some thoughts in someone's head. But, I mean, I think it is possible to brainwash someone by whispering for prolonged periods of time over a course of months or many years, probably. I think that is I think that is scientifically proven, but I don't know. Don't, quote me on that. It might be incorrect, so take it with a grain of salt. But still, what Koro-sensei was doing, just like, that's crazy. Like, he was sitting there just implanting these thoughts in their mind while they were trying to save his ass. And so that means he saw all what they were doing with their struggles while he was teaching them at the exact same time. That's crazy. So, from now on, when I have these random thoughts pop up in my head, like, oh my god, I need to go get a Snickers bar or something. If I have these random thoughts pop up in my head, it must mean that Koro-sensei is behind me doing messages. He's whispering into my ears saying, eat a Snickers bar. And just like, if I see that, like, yeah. Okay, so jokes aside, the chapter has it to where Nagisa is learning what he wants to do. He wants to actually become a teacher. He actually mentioned something that is very realistic. Once again, I shouldn't really have to mention how realistic Assassination Classroom is when it comes to some of its core themes, so I want to, scrap the details and just move on. Nagisa admires Koro-sensei, which is understandable, because if you respect a said person, like if you really respect, let's say, a said teacher, a high-up official, a ruler, whatever, any type of person, a writer, and you respect this person, you might want to become more like that person, or go down a similar path as that person. It's kind of like being inspired, like your ideal goal, being inspired to do something, and you going for it. That's kind of what Nagisa has been done to do. For instance, as we found out a long time ago, he had this talent, and it seems like Nagisa is an assassin. He's a cold-blooded assassin, and he would make a pretty damn good assassin. He most likely would. But it's more along the lines of Nagisa was admiring Koro-sensei so much, he wanted to be kind of similar to him, and so in a way, he finally realized maybe his path could be becoming a teacher, which would be very cool if this series ends off in a certain way that's similar to how the series began. Like, let me explain. What if Nagisa becomes, like, the next teacher in line to take Koro-sensei's spot? Like, let's put it this way. Let's say this is hypothetical. I have many hypothetical things that could happen. Let's say Koro-sensei dies, okay? Let's say he dies at the end of the series. He's said and done. He does get assassinated, and he's done. Nagisa most likely would take his place of E-Class and probably do the exact same training and teaching that Koro-sensei did with the assassinations, kind of similar, which Nagisa won't end up dying, of course, but I mean, he might teach in the same way Koro-sensei did with, you know, the assassinations and stuff, which would lead into, like, Nagisa carrying on the will of Koro-sensei if Koro-sensei dies, which kind of scares me a little bit, because if it does go that path, it makes a lot of sense, actually, Nagisa carrying on the will of Koro-sensei with his teaching, because something teachers like, see, I'm not a teacher, but I want to assume if teachers really, really love their jobs, they usually get a lot more, I guess, happiness knowing they taught their fellow students and let them go up into higher statuses of the world to where they can do their own things. For instance, I think a teacher truly has happiness when they can see their students being successful or doing something that really makes them happy. And if Nagisa takes it on the path of carrying on his teacher's legacy, and Koro-sensei knows that his legacy is going on, and also he taught his students well, it would probably make him happy if he does die. And that's kind of where I think that is leading right there. If on the other hypothetical thing going on, there might be a good possibility that Nagisa might become an assistant to Koro-sensei's teaching. For instance, maybe Nagisa will become some form of assassin teacher. Like, he might become a person that teaches them, like, you know, PE kind of. Like, he'll be the PE teacher in a certain way. I can see something like that also happening if Nagisa does become a teacher. But who knows? I mean, the chapter overall, though, did a very good job with what it had. Even though it was very slow in some ways and set up and continue on to the stuff we already kind of know of, it still did a good job with the content it did provide us. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You will have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.